Hello, my name is Woro Wahyuningtyas. I'm from Faculty of Law, Christian University in Indonesia or UKI Jakarta, Indonesia. Today I'm with Dr. Manotar Tampubolon from Faculty of Law, Christian University of Indonesia or UKI Jakarta, and with Mr. Dr. Gindo L. Tobing, Master of Law Program, Christian University of Indonesia or UKI Jakarta. Today I will present the paper titled Humans Enslaved, Indonesian Encounter During Dutch Colonialism. The paper structure, we have a background, literature review, slavery impact, and a conclusion. We have methodology of qualitative methodology, historical approach, data analysis, critical analysis methodologies, primary source from slavery-related materials, and secondary source from book, journals, law reports, and online resource. A brief history. In late 19th century, the Dutch starting its trading companies, the West India Company or YIC in America and VOC in Asia. In 19,000, Dutch set up of VOC in Batavia or Jakarta to fight the enemies of the Netherlands Oost India or Indonesia and prevent other European nations to enter the East India trade. VOC was not only trading company but also a slaves trading internally and externally. While slavery in Dutch colonies in America is a known historical fact, hardly anyone is aware that a million people were brought, sold, and had to endure slavery in Holland's largest possession, Netherlands Oost India, for 350 years. The VOC brought the Netherlands international power and wealth while exploiting local population, creating colonies, and trading in human beings. The literature review, we have Malalox in George in 1989 and Peterson on 2018 and then William on 2011 and Mears and Koptov on 1977 and then Burnett on 2021. The Burnett said that slavery as a business and enslaved people in short were acted upon by their owners so as to maximize profit with their obedient ensured through force. Then Peterson said that slavery is shown to be a parasitic relationship between master and slave, invariably entailing the violent domination of the naturally alienated and social dead person. William said that separation was always a threat as family member could be sold or sent away according to the needs and wishes. Slavery as eternal trade is culture stelsel or enforced planting, human trading for plantation workers, known as coolies or coolie, was widely practiced around 150 years ago. Delhi is a land of gold and heaven for the capitalist class, but it is only a land of sweat and tears, a land of death and hell for the coolies. The coolies did slave labor, they were slaves. The coolies toil from early morning until night, get enough wages for pillar and back cover, live in the world like a goat in the cage, from time to time beaten and cursed by the Dutch. At times they can lose their wives and doctors that the master wants. VOC slave market. The VOC brought slaves, especially from India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and Philippines and Indonesian islands, such as Bali, Sulawesi, Sumatra, including in the East African slave market. Slave boats by VOC from enforced planting in Netherlands Oost India. In year 80 to 9030, number of slaves is 200,000 the origin from China, and then 1930 number of slaves 230,000 origin from Java, and then 1930 number of slaves 100,000 origin from India. The foremost cruel human slavery, the slave trading, sex slave, forced labor, and enforced planting or culture stelsel. The slavery for the external trade, we can see that the recruiting agents were paid, and recruitment process inf- inevitably led to corruption, and all forms of deceit and trickery were resorted to. Slaves from Java who were brought to Suriname had their names changed by the Dutch so that it was difficult to find their family and did not return to Indonesia. In total, almost 33,000 Javanese brought to Suriname in the period of 1819 to 1939. Who benefit from the slavery? Tobacco company owned by the Dutch in the colony state. The total daily tobacco sale accomplished by colonial planters from 1864 to 1938 reached 2.77 billion guilders, and debt takeover. Indonesia took over Dutch debt amount of 4.5 billion guilders. And the compensation in 1967, Indonesia paid amount of 600 million guilder to compensate of the loss of Dutch company. Colonial legacy and its impact on Indonesian society. 1. Loss of identity, culture, and nationality. Javanese culture tradition have proven to be strong, even though change and adaptation in Suriname. No serious education. Inheritance of some of the worst Dutch character traits. The Dutch destroyed the peaceful way of life of the Indonesian people by bringing violence into the country. Indonesia was left in the great debt and their economy was destroyed, killing all Banda Islands population by Jan Pieterszoon Jun. Nearly 150,000 Indonesian killing during the colonial, and then Dutch plantations still survive in North Sumatra or Delhi, even though they follow the Dutch system. A large amount of Javanese still work in plantation while they are no longer bound by the contract. Continuing human trafficking from Indonesia, especially labor workers. The conclusion: slavery and slave trade were disparate throughout the empire of the Dutch East Indonesia Company or VOC in Netherlands Oost-Indie. The VOC was involved in forced relocation and forced mobilization of people in direct and indirect ways. This entailed commodified slavery and especially slave trade in which persons were considered properly and sellable, but also a wider landscape of forced relocation, deportation, non-commodified transfer, and cured labor regime for coerced debt and case slavery. The solution: return all the money drained out from Netherlands Oost-Indie, including interest. Netherlands Oost-Indie must be free from foreign debt. This should be applied to all former colonial. Much more research into the history of slavery, slave trade, and wider coercive labor and social regime is needed to shed light on the dynamic and connection of local and global system. Thank you very much. And if you have any question, you can find on Mr. Manotar Justicia234 at gmail.com.